Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Anda sedang menonton Agenda Awani dan malam ni topik yang kerap saya bincangkan di sini di bawah ekonomi pengetahuan iaitu apabila dunia sekarang mempunyai banyak data dan maklumat ataupun lebih dikenali dengan big data. Oleh itu saya ingin meminta izin untuk berbicara dalam bahasa Inggeris kerana ada tamu begitu penting dari luar negara juga. Tapi tamu yang cukup lama saya kejar dan hari ini saya berjaya mendapatkan beliau, Datuk Yasmin Mahmud, Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif MDIG. And beside him is Jyoti Perasamy, the Chief Data Scientist. It's a lab in Harvard that everyone talks about. But I'm very interested to know about Expo5 because it was supposed to be a bootstrap startup. But now I look at it and millions of US dollars is being quoted to Expo5. But we are talking about this because of Big Data Week 2015 at Kuala Lumpur. It's a very, very big name initiative in the big data world of the world. But I will let Dato' Yasmin talk about it. But where I'm going to come from is, we've been talking about what big data is, so maybe we can just recap that a bit. But I've been dying to know what's in it for people like me and the layman, because sometimes it seems like only if you have millions of dollars that you can join in the race. But I guess if it's being equated by Forbes, economists and everything else, that this is like what the Industrial Revolution was a few hundred years ago. This is the next big revolution.
Wave of innovation.
Go ahead,
Thank you, Kong.
Astound us.
Yes. Let me first say that it's such a pleasure to be here.
Sure.
Now, big data analytics, or BDA, as we call it in the industry, it comes across as a big name, but actually at the crux of it, it's a very simple concept sebenarnya. Because if you look at data analytics, daripada masa kita duk guna Excel lagi, we're using Excel,
yes.
putting in data into the using pivot tables. That is already data analytics.
Okay.
So what's different with under the BDA banner is the word big. Data explosion is happening right now.
Yes.
If you just take the fact that 90% of the world's current data has been produced only in the last 2 years.
Okay.
If you look at Twitter, for instance, there are 6,000 tweets per second all over the world. That means 360,000 tweets per minute. So if there is, and then if you combine the enterprise data, you combine with video analytics, video images that's been captured on CCTV, and you've even spoken about the Internet of Things, the kind of data that's going to be coming from Internet of Things. So if you put in all that together, it's an explosion of data, and that is memang tak boleh nafikan. It is undeniable. It's coming. It's the wave of innovation, and it's coming in really big and really strong.
So where are we now?
Let me just talk about the analytics. I think it's important, because I don't want people to feel scared about BDA. It is something that, like you said, everybody should be using it, and that's what we want to do. To get Malaysia into what you call the data economy. And I'll talk about where we are right now and where we want to be. So in the other part, the D, the A, the analytics. So we used to do analytics, like for instance, when we do Excel, we do what we call descriptive analysis. So if I use an example, macam if you own a retail store, a big retail store, in the past you would look at, our sales this month has gone up by this %, our sale comes down during this month, and so on. And then you go into the next step of analytics, which is what you call diagnostic. Why? Why do our sales come down? Why do we do this thing? Now, what we're moving towards now is a higher level of analytics, where we are moving from hindsight, looking at the past, moving to insight. That means we are understanding the why. Now we are moving to foresight. That means using the data, like for instance, you look into the fact that your sale has come down over a certain period, and every year in, year out, it comes out a certain period, and you also apply in some data around, let's say, weather forecast. You apply that and you say, kalau weather macam ni, certain sales go up, certain sales come down, and then you look into some sentiment. Kalau there is a sentiment about back to school, orang maybe a little bit more gung-ho, so you put in all this analysis, and then you can go into what you call predictive. So kalau in the case of the retail store tu, you can look into the trends in the past and you can say, kalau hujan musim ni, kalau masa school, this is the kind of things that people will buy. Then the last element of analytics would be the ultimate part, which is you're going into what you call prescriptive. So kalau let's say you understand this person, and maybe you can even overlay with some tweets that she or she has done, and you realize she has got a baby. And you know what? the moment she comes into your store, as a mobile app that comes out and says that, okay, hello, so and so, you know, you have, you might want to buy this and this and this, and also these are some baby products that's on sale. Perhaps you won't be interested in it. So that is what, in simple terms, what it is all about. Just big data analytics, and this is a phenomena as an innovation, and you know, it is a wave of innovation where you call knowledge economy. Yes, we've moved to digital economy, and now we're talking about the data economy.
It's going to make our life smarter in a sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
So we've got to be smart about it, because I think we missed the Industrial Revolution because we're not independent yet. But this time, we are equipped relatively well to take advantage of this and to be among the front runners.
Yes, I think we definitely have got the strong foundation because, you know, as from 1996 when the MNC was started up, and MDEX Charter was really about to build this you know, our mandate basically is two parts. One is to build the industry. So if you apply to the current scenario, we are trying to build an industry, people who are producing, you know, who are coming up with products and services that utilizes BDA, you know, that leverage on BDA. So you have data analytics too and so on. You'll be surprised that one of the top global companies in the world is a Malaysian MNC homegrown company.
I will let you tell that success story in a while, but I'm going to go to Jyoti now. Harvard, Expo 5, Innovation Lab, all these are the things that we want to do here too. But if you can paint the picture from where you are in the United States, looking at this very exciting growth of BDA?
First of all, I really sincerely want to thank MDAC and the opportunity that is given to me to come and speak with you all. I live in Sacramento, California, and I'm currently working at Expo 5, which is part of Harvard Innovation Lab as a chief data scientist. The chief data scientist title may looks pretty sexy, but there's a lot involved to carry the title. Data science, it's really not a new concept or a new terminology. Data science, it's been around a long time. What does that makes it more attractive or more towards driving to business to look for what it is? So if you look at 5 years back, there was no social media, there was no different data sources. Now, not only your transactional data, there are data which is coming from outside, and those data coming in a different format. It could be structure, it could be semi-structure, it could be machine data, it could be data that can't be quantifiable. How do we take all those data sets and connect back your business financial transactions and generate value for business? And that is new. That's a change in the data space.
Let me go to the first commercial break, but once we are back, I just want to know about one of the biggest BDA-based companies from Malaysia, and then I want to know from you about Expo 5. Was it really bootstrap kind of startup? And now it doesn't seem like that anymore. What was the story like? I'm unsure, because sometimes, too many times in Malaysia, we want just clean, sanitized way of achieving success. But I want to hear the dirty, nitty-gritty, the hardship part of it, the failures and whatnot. That we'll discuss after this short break. Thank you for still watching Agenda Awani, and we are looking at the next revolution. We are already in it. People are moving with it. We are moving with it. So before I go to the Harvard guy, I'll go back to Datuk Yasmin, because I think this is your first appearance on Agenda Awani since you took over MDEX leadership. Maybe you can paint to us the picture in the form of the companies that we already have, and one is FusionX. And I heard the word billion being associated with this company.
So, you know, I think we have, in terms of the industry development part, in terms of companies, they are producing or developing products leveraging on BDA. We have some excellent pockets of excellence already. Yeah? So FutureNext is one company that we all should be very proud of. They are one of the top global players in the world in the area of data analytics. They are an MSc company, homegrown in Malaysia, and very proud to say that they are homegrown and homebred in Malaysia, although they are listed in the UK Stock Exchange with a market cap of ringgit 1 billion. And they are operating in Malaysia, and they're very much a strong partner of ours to develop the more holistic ecosystem. At the same time, we're also seeing a lot more of these companies, startup companies. The startup ecosystem is very healthy. Just today, this week we're having this Big Data Week, and we've invited our startup ecosystem plus the established players plus the multinational players to come together, and we're seeing, I was going through some of the solutions, and they're quite interesting solutions. So I'm excited about the fact that the companies, the supply part of it is going to be quite robust and exciting. The part that we need to, and that's the whole idea of doing the Big Data Week, is to ensure the adoption of big data analytics. Because businesses, for instance, they have to apply the innovation and take advantage of it to bring them to the next level. It's going to be an age for them. In fact, it's going to be a case of if they don't use it, they'll be left behind because everybody else will be left behind.
I'll throw in a simple thing, like the adoption of GST recently. You'll be smiling because our point of sale system now will be network, and the data that you can glean off from there alone is a lot.
Absolutely. Now, I think the GST punya scenario would be a very good example on how to make it real. If you were to look at GST sekarang ni, it's first introduced, although in other parts of the world, if you travel, you're very familiar with it, but in Malaysia, it's something new. So, and we have this zero-rated stuff, and we have this exempted stuff, and you have this list of things. Now, so on one hand, you'll see that this list of data sets is currently available in the respective ministries' on your website. They're in PDF format. And then you have the private sector coming out and building up applications, but they don't have the data points that is currently available. So sometimes they have to key in themselves. Now, if you apply big data, and one component of big BDA is what you call government open data. So we are working with the government, for instance, to turn that PDF that they have in their website, which is considered public data pun kan, asking them to convert it into government ada. Actually, Mampu is maintaining a central repository of government open data sets. It's called data.gov.my. Cuma sekarang ni, they have 200 data sets in it, but the problem is that it is not being put in the machine-readable format, and therefore you cannot have those API hooks for the public to easily extract. Tapi kalau let's say if you make this available, the industry, a startup, for instance, can easily go and get the data from that and say that, okay, so you want to buy, this is zero rated. So then if you were, then there's also another data set from KPD and KK, if I'm not mistaken, that does a survey of the prices of the major hypermarkets. So, and then if that can be published into the data set, put together and easily accessible for what you call open innovation, then applications can come up and say, okay, you're looking for this type, here is where you can find the best, and if you apply to your mobile punya where you are, your house is here, the cheapest price to get this is over at this supermarket. You can even say that, okay, this is zero rated, now how come this price has gone up? And that can then be what you call predictive, and you can also take action on it.
Datuk got me at hooks for the application to come in, because I would even layer on top of that the halal and Sharia compliant list, and then I would put on top of that where's the nearest to me, for example, so on my way back I can just snatch one or two.
Absolutely.
But that's coming. Dato' and a group working tirelessly on that. But X-Perfy.
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell us that story? Because you were working KPMG. I look at your resume; it's so long.
Very impressive.
But very impressive.
Thank you.
But you went and got involved with this bootstrap startup. Can you tell us?
Absolutely. X-Perfy, it's a startup inside the Harvard Innovation Lab. Our focus, we want to simplify how data science, big data, analytics should be deployed. So we offer talent, we offer data platform, we also offer packaged solutions. So if a business wanted to get started big data project. They need advisory.
Okay.
Where do I start? How do I go? And what problem I'm going to solve so that I can gain real business value for my business customers. So we help clients to formalize their business case, develop a strategy and roadmap, all the way to selecting right technology and helping them to implement. In case, if the client doesn't want to build their own technology, they can use our technology. We have a ready-made data platform, which is a digital lab. It's available on the cloud. Anyone can access. They can get started right away. It's too risky for a business to go and invest
On its own.
I want something to quick win, to show business how this modern technology, how this modern data solutions is going to add value to the business.
Okay.
So that's the second offering. That's a data platform completely on a cloud subscription model.
Matching the talent also is one of the things that you
That is
do.
correct.
And I think Datuk has announced at the Big Data Week 2015 at Kuala Lumpur about our institution of higher learning that is looking at this, because I look at the numbers. My God, if I was still studying in university, I would change my course straight away, because any graduate will be snap up looking at the numbers. But I will let you tell the audience about it, and you can add in to that on the
Absolutely.
global level.
Sure.
We'll go for the last break, and once we are back, this is the hottest job to be in, sexiest of all, chief data scientist like Jyoti, right after this short break.
Thank you.
You are still watching Agenda Awani, and I'm very honored to be here with two of the greatest people in the world to talk about big data analytics. Datuk, we're running out of time, so if you can share with us from the human capital, talent, expertise perspective, it's very clear we don't have enough and we need a lot by 2020.
Yes, that's right. So data scientists, they are the people who are able to turn data into value. Memang we don't have enough, but nowhere in the world there are
Is there
enough.
enough?
Everybody
Okay,
is
okay.
just trying to catch up. Now in Malaysia right now, for instance, we have done a bit. We have about 80 data scientists, and by 2020 we've got to make this to go beyond 1,000. Yeah. So now, but it's an interesting topic too. So let's say, let me start by saying that data scientists, ni kan, what I have learned also in the past a few days, because we thought about data scientists, or we think that they are this big PhD,
Yes.
brainy people. Of course, they have to be brainy, but there are two categories. What I have learned. One is that what you call data scientists who are doing more for research.
Okay.
So they look into mathematical models.
Modeling,
What are the new areas? How do you break through in the modeling, into the mathematical modeling? And you need this to have the real PhD type of people. But the other data scientists, and this is more and more becoming more and more mainstream right now, are what you call the enterprise data scientists.
Okay.
And I learned this from Jyoti actually.
Okay.
So these are the people that are themselves are subject matter experts in themselves. So they have the domain knowledge, but they have the analytical mind, they have the curiosity to ask the questions, and they can just apply existing tools, existing mathematical models, like regression models and segmentation models and clustering models, and they are already there. All you have to do is ask the right questions, and the model will then model it out. So in terms of talent development, we're looking at both parts. We're looking at having the data scientists that can do this kind of research work, and we're looking also for those that are, you could be a lawyer, you could be an accountant, but you need to have that analytical ability to draw deep insights and foresight.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's why I want to go to Jyoti. I want to use an example that's a bit outdated. About 15 years ago, I was at the R&D lab of Ericsson in Stockholm, and they were presenting, the one cool banana phone in the movie, slice of it. But then I raised my hand, and this no-name journalist from this no-name country, to them, is asking about 4G. So maybe in order to close this discussion, we need to look forward. We're not just studying today for 2020, but we're studying today for 50, 100 years, because it's now involving foresight. For example, solving the ills of the world. If we can read the weather pattern now and what we are consuming and what we are emitting out that's killing the environment, we can kill many birds with one stone with BDA.
Absolutely. As Yasin told, the data scientist the real need for data scientists in industry, more solving business problems. To solve a business problem, the data scientist must have to understand industry, the process, and data behind those processes. So the demand market right now puts in front of us for such data scientists who can help business to perform a true analytics transformation. Business currently they're performing traditional reporting, traditional data analysis, traditional way of looking at data. We don't want that. We want to have a modern look in data, a modern finding in data, more advanced value in data. To do such work, we need someone accountable, someone strategically thinking and taking the business to that level. That is a person considered to be an enterprise data scientist who understand people, who understand industry, who understand data, who understand the value that comes out from the data.
Yes. The reason I put in that way because in the 90s, the Silicon Valley might be there in America, but the Mobile Valley was in the Scandinavian countries. But now, if you look at the smartphone makers of the world, they are all this side of the world in Asia. Because the GUI, for example, because the Scandinavian makers were very focused on the back end and the engineering side, the software side of it, they didn't really see and refine how a user would experience it. Using your enterprise data scientist, who would complement this? Because an engineer that builds a car need a mechanic that can transform all the drawings into application. For enterprise data scientists, who will be the next?
So this is the most common question asked any client that I worked with. Correct? Who would be the right person to choose as an enterprise data scientist? Can I go out and look for PhDs, masters with mathematics, statistics, and etc. But the success rate to hiring an enterprise chief data scientist, it came from industry, not from PhDs, not from statistics, correct? So the recommendation was made, look for within your talent pool, within your existing business function, who you think may be a best fit with all the skills that's required, which is strategic thinking, a transformation leader, an industry expert and business expert. Identify that individual, give them an opportunity, promote them with right training as a data scientist.
You know, Malaysians will have to go and swarm any digital existence of Expo 5 to know more. That's all the time we have. I'm going to make Dato' Yasmin promise that not only will she come back, she will bring FusionX and all the rest to come here because this is information we need to share. Semua kita di Malaysia patut mengetahui tentang perkara ini. Ini masa depan untuk bangsa dan negara. InsyaAllah kita akan teruskan membincangkan perkara ini. Hantarkan semua pandangan anda kepada pelbagai platform yang Astro Awani ada, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram dan sebagainya. Dan jangan lupa muat turun aplikasi Mudah Alih. Astro Awani juga ada big data nanti di gadget Mudah Alih kegemaran anda. Sekian, selamat malam. Terima kasih. Jumpa lagi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.